Ethan from Minneapolis has a two-parter. He's got a question regarding his hands and his feet. This is a very, very common problem that 99% of beginner drummers have. So anyways, he just got a drum set handed down to him, and he's just trying to learn. So his first question is, do you have any good exercises for someone just starting out? And secondly, I have a lot of trouble separating what my hand is doing from what my feet are doing, specifically on the kick. If my foot plays 3 beats, my hand wants to do the same thing. Any tips for undoing that unison? Yeah. Let me answer your first question first. I'm not saying this is the way to go, but this is what I did. You know, when I first got into drumming, I got my first kit. Sorry. When I got my first kit, I spent my first 3 years just playing the records. That was it. That's all I did. I didn't do any exercises. I didn't do anything. I just spent easily 2 to 5 hours a day, and that's no joke, man. I'm not even kidding. This was back in, you know, late 80s, early 90s, whatever. But I would go downstairs and I would just put on album after album and just play through them. Police, Level 42, Big Country, like all kinds of different bands, and I would just play. That, I found out later on, played a huge part in, first of all, preparing me to play with humans is one thing. But it really did wonders as far as developing my ear. As far as exercises that I can suggest for you to do as a beginner, I gotta tell you, man, there's far too many. I could be here for 2 hours, you know, suggesting exercises for you. I can tell you this, another thing that I did, along with playing along with all of the albums and stuff in the beginning, I'm self-taught, but I had to get some education from somewhere. So I started to invest in instructional videos, and that became a pretty important part of my early practice. Because like I said, I had to get the information from somewhere. So I started to invest in a lot of instructional videos. You know, a lot of my favorite drummers were just coming out with these videos. This is back when Hudson Music was still DCI video. And I planted myself on the couch and I watched videos like crazy. So now, these days, obviously, you know, with YouTube, as you're sitting here watching it, you could be here for days. You know, there's no shortage of resources for beginner drummers. So just start looking stuff up. And, you know, there are plenty of DVDs available for beginners. There's plenty of online stuff that you can get, websites that you can subscribe to. There's just a ton of material out there. So start watching videos and you know, soak in the information that you're going to need to get better at this. To answer your second question, when I used to teach and I had a lot of beginner students, I would see the exact same thing with almost every single one of them. Once I got into grooves that involved playing offbeat notes on the bass drum. The first groove I would teach them involving offbeats on the kick would be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And almost every time, they would end up doing this. Don't worry about that. Every single beginner drummer does that. During your lifetime of learning things on the drums, muscle memory is going to become the most important part of your practice. That means the way to learn stuff and the way to unlearn stuff is to do one thing a whole bunch of times in a row. Don't worry about that. That problem is going to fix itself. The only thing you can do is go really slow so that your brain can sort of teach your muscles what to do and what not to do. If you just start it and play that groove slow and concentrate on, separating the hands and the feet, when you do it enough times slow, you'll slowly be able to speed it up, and then eventually the problem's gone.